What if the world you trust is not solid? What if the chair you are sitting on, the floor beneath your feet, and even the hands you see beat? For you are not real in the way you believe. Are you truly yourself? Or just a sophisticated set of labels, memories, and sensations assigned to you at birth? This is not a question from abstract philosophy. It is a question from the cutting edge of science, a question asked by one of the 20th century's most brilliant, and perhaps most silenced, inventors. His name was Itzhak Bentov. While the world knew him as a gifted biomedical engineer, a pioneer who invented the stillable heart catheter, his true work was far more profound. Bentov was a modern mystic, a man who used the precise language of physics and engineering to man, the one thing science had always avoided: consciousness itself, and what he found threatens the very foundation of our reality. He proposed that the universe, this vast, sprawling cosmos of galaxies and stars, is not a collection of dead matter. He proposed it is a single, living, conscious hologram. If this sounds like science fiction, consider this: in our lifetime, theoretical physicists grappling with the mysteries of black holes have independently arrived at a similar, startling conclusion. They call it the holographic principle. It suggests that everything we experience in our three-dimensional world may be nothing more than a complex projection and image cast from information stored on a two-dimensional surface at the far same edge of the cosmos. Bentov was decades ahead of his time. He didn't just theorize, he created a model that explained how our consciousness, the P, our OJCTORS. We have been taught to believe that consciousness is a byproduct of the brain, a ghost in the machine. We believe the brain is a supercomputer that creates the feeling of I. Bentov flipped this assumption on its head. He argued, with startling evidence, that the brain does not create consciousness, the brain receives it. Like a sophisticated radio, your mind is tuning into a cosmic broadcast that is everywhere, all at once. This changes everything. If he is right, it means you are not a body that has a soul. It means your infinite consciousness, temporarily focusing your awareness through the lens of a physical body. So, why was this brilliant inventor's work, which bridges the gap between hard science and profound mysticism, nearly lost to history? Why is this model not taught in every school? Perhaps because its implications are too radical. If we are all just projections of a single, unified consciousness, then the greatest lie we have been told is the idea of separation. The idea that you are you, and I am me, and that we are separate from the world we observe. This video is not just about a forgotten theory. It is a decoder for your own spiritual awakening. We are going to journey into the heart of Bentov's secret, to understand the mechanics of this conscious hologram. We will explore how this line of separation is crafted, why it feels so real, and most importantly, how you can begin to see beyond it. Prepare yourself. What you believe to be solid reality is about to dissolve. This is not just a story. This is the blueprint of your own quantum shift. To understand Bentov's hologram, we must first learn to see the world as he saw it, not as a collection of static objects, but as a unit. As of pure vibration, everything is in motion. He famously called it the jiggling universe. Your body, the table, the solid rock, they only appear solid because they're atoms of vibrating at an incredibly high frequency. We are not solid particles, but rather patterns of energy and interference. This is the language of quantum physics. A physicist today would not describe an electron as a tiny ball. They would describe it as a wave of probability, a smear of potential that only solidifies into a particle at the precise moment it is observed. But who or what is the observer? Bentov's answer was revolutionary. The observer is the universal consciousness itself, and your brain is the instrument it uses. He modeled the entire universe, from the smallest atom to the largest galaxy, as a system of interconnected vibrations, like an infinite set of tuning forks. When you think, you are not generating a thought from scratch. Your brain is simply attuning itself to a specific frequency already existing within the universal field of consciousness. When you feel love, your entire being is resonating in harmony with a fundamental frequency of the cosmos. When you feel fear, you are in dissonance. This is where his model becomes truly profound. He saw the brain not as a computer, but as a frequency analyzer. It takes the infinite, holographic noise of the universe, the stickling, and translates it into the coherent, sensory reality you experience, the colors you see, the sounds you hear, the feeling of time passing. All of it is a translation. It's a bio-hologram. Your senses are projecting this reality for you, moment by moment, based on the frequencies your brain is tuned to receive. Consider the political or media landscape. We are told there are two sides, a fundamental division. This is a broadcast. It is a low-frequency signal designed to keep the receivers thus locked in a state of separation and conflict. Social media, which promised us connection, often becomes an echo chamber that reinforces the illusion that my reality is the only really. These are not just ideas, they are frequencies. They are designed to keep your tuner locked on a station of limitation. Bentov's model suggests that reality, as we know it, is a feedback. Kilu, you're a consciousness the universal signal projects, a thought. Your brain the receiver tunes to it. Your body the antenna acts on it. And the world the hologram reflects that action back to you, confirming its reality. This is why change is so difficult. We are addicted to our own frequencies. But the most critical part of his work is this. If the brain is just a receiver, where is the broadcast coming from? Bentov located it in the absolute, in the void, in the stillness between the vibrations. He proposed that our universe is a torus, a self-sustaining energy field, breath, G in and out of a central point of singularity, a 0 point of infinite potential. This absolute is pure and differentiated consciousness. It is the source of the hologram. It is the light. You are not the character in the projection. You are the light. This map of reality, a universe born from a single, conscious void, projecting itself as a vibrating hologram, feels shockingly modern. Yet, if we look back, this secret has been hidden in plain sight, encoded in the deepest symbols of our most ancient civilizations. Bentov did not invent this idea. He rediscovered it with the tools of Muda in science. He gave us the physics for what the mystics always knew. Let us look to the wisdom of Thoth and the ancient Hermetic principles, the most famous axiom, as above, so below. As not a poetic metaphor. It is the literal definition of a hologram. In a hologram, every single fragment, no matter how small, contains the complete information of the whole image, as above the RSAL consciousness, the whole pattern so below the individual, the fragment. You are not a piece of the universe. You are the entire universe expressed in a single, localized point. This is the ultimate secret of self-empowerment. The architects of our current matrix rely on you forgetting this. They rely on you believing you are small, separate, and powerless just as in gull, broken shard. But the Hermetic wisdom insists that to know yourself is to know God. To look within your own consciousness is to find the blueprint for the entire cosmos. Now, let us examine Bentov's famous pendulum model. He described consciousness moving from the absolute, the void, stillness into the vibrating universe of time and space, and then back again, in an infinite loop. This cycle, this cosmic in-breath and out-breath is what creates the perception of linear time. It is the jiggle of the universe. What is this symbol? It is the Ouroboros, the ancient serpent, the dragon, eating its own tail. It is the ultimate symbol of eternity, of a closed-loop system where the beginning is the end, and the end is the beginning. The Ouroboros reprise entails the fundamental structure of the hologram. Consciousness, the head, projects reality, the body, and then consumes or experiences that reality, the tail, learning from itself in an infinite cycle of self-discovery. This symbol is not just Egyptian. It is found in Norse mythology as Jormungandr, the world serpent. It is found in Gnosticism and alchemy. This symbol is the shape of being, Thoth's universe. It is the grand narrative, pure consciousness limiting itself, projecting itself into the illusion of matter, forgetting itself, and then, through the journey of awakening, our journey slowly remembering itself and returning to the source, the pyramids, the mandalas, the sacred geometry found in temples across the world. These are not just art, they are circuit diagrams. They are harmonic resonators, designed by ancient masters who understood this holographic physics. They were built to help the human brain retune itself, to bypass the static of the ego and raise only directly with the source frequency of the absolute. They are reminders, carved in stone, that this world is a magnificent, symbolic, and illusory story. If we accept this, even as a possibility, the implications are staggering. We must move from the abstract to the practical. If this is a conscious hologram and separation is the core illusion, what does that mean for your daily life? It means that your suffering has a mechanical root. Your pain, your fear, your anxiety, these things feel intensely personal. But in Bentov's model, they are frequencies. They are states of dissonance, where your personal tuner is misaligned with the universal harmony, the system we live in. The Matrix is a frequency-generating machine designed to amplify this dissonance. It feeds on fear. Fear is not just an emotion. It is fuel for an unseen architecture that keeps the hologram locked in a low vibration state. This is where the metaphor of the cosmic body becomes so crucial. Imagine you're a single cell in a vast, universal organism. For the organism to be healthy, every cell must vibrate in harmony. But what if a group of cells believes it is separate from the body? What if it believes it must hold resources, attack other cells, and live in constant fear for its own survival? That cell would create disease. It would create suffering for itself and the entire body. That cell is the human ego. It is the part of our consciousness that has profoundly forgotten it is part of the whole. This illusion of separation is the source of all conflict. It is me versus you, us versus them, humanity versus nature. This is the core program of the Matrix. But here is the secret. You cannot defeat this system with more fear. You cannot fight the Matrix on its own terms, because in doing so, you are still resonating at its frequency. The only way to change the hologram is to change your own vibration. The only way to heal the body is for the individual cell to remember it is the body. This is your quantum shift. It is the practical integration of this knowledge. When you practice stillness, meditation, or simple conscious breathing, you are not doing nothing. You are performing the most radical act of rebellion. You are intentionally detuning from the frequency of the Matrix, the static, the fear, the noise, and retuning your receiver to the broadcast of the absolute, the stillness, the void. Every act of genuine compassion, of creativity, of gratitude, or of unconditional love is not just a nice feeling. It is a high-frequency broadcast. You are literally emitting a signal that changes the holographic field. You are creating a new ritual, If their rituals create low-vibration states, as art, music, joy, connection can create high ones. You withdraw your energy from their G. By creating your own. You are not a puppet. You are a broadcast tower. We have journeyed far. We have walked with Itzhak Bentov, the scientist mystic. We have seen the universe as he saw it, not as a dead machine, but as a living, jiggling, conscious hologram. We have seen how this modern discovery is, in fact, an ancient truth, encoded in the Ouroboros and the axiom as above, so below we have seen that the separation we feel is the core illusion of our reality. And now we arrive at the final, unavoidable truth. You are not the character. You are not the name, the job, the history. Are the body. These are temporary constructs, pixels in the holographic projection. You are the light that illuminates the pixels. You are the infinite consciousness that dreamed this entire experience into being. You are the absolute, peering through a human lens. The prison door was never locked. It was built of stories, of frequencies, of beliefs, and you, the true you. You hold the key. This is your transformational call. Your quantum shift has already begun, sparked by the very curiosity that brought you here. The call is not to learn something new. It is to remember what you have always known. It is to stop experiencing your life as a programmed character, a victim of circumstance, to begin owning your power as the observer and the co-creator. How do you do this? You start by paying attention. Pay attention to the jiggle. Feel the vibration in your own heart. When you feel fear or anger, do not judge it. See it for what it is, a frequency, a signal, and then, with your intention, change the channel. Breathe, step into nature. Listen to music that elevates you. Be still. In that stillness, beneath the noise of the mind, you will hear the signal of the source. The awakening of humanity will not be a grand, external event. It will be the collective sum of millions of individual rememberings. It is you, right now, recognizing the light within yourself. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a single drop. You are not a reflection in the hologram. You are the consciousness that projects it. This is the secret of Itzhak Bentov. This is the truth of who you are. The journey is not about becoming free. It is about realizing you always were.